Hello, I'm Dave Maloney, the Group Editorial Director at Supply Chain Exchange, and we're here today to talk about the upcoming EDGE conference. And joining me is Vanden, Brink, and he's going to talk a little bit with us about the conference and what he's looking forward to experiencing there. Welcome, Dan. Good to have you with us today.
Fantastic. Glad to be here and support.
Dan, what do you do in your day job?
So it's a great job I have right now. I work at a company called Decision Spot. We work with very interesting customers and technologies, specifically around AI, which is the big term now, but I've been in the field for quite a long time, helping companies solve their challenging analytics problems, whether it's strategic with end-to-end optimization or short-term inventory planning and reaction type of problems.
Dan, the CSCMP EDGE conference is coming up here towards the end of September in Nashville. What are you most looking forward to doing and seeing at the conference?
I've been going to these conferences for quite a while, and especially recently after COVID. And really what I appreciate most is just reconnecting with people, networking with people, and learning about what the issues they're having, and how they're addressing those issues. I think after that, it's great education. It's a great educational experience to learn about new technologies and how they're being applied towards supply chain problems. They've got an innovative track, which brings up new vendors that are doing interesting things in the technology space. I'm leading the technology track this year. We're really going to be focused on digital twins and AI and how they're impacting supply chain. So the educational piece is always fantastic also, and always great to see some of the keynotes, which generally we've always had very impactful keynotes talking about larger issues and how they're impacting supply chain management.
And Dan, you had mentioned that you're the track chair for the Technology and Innovations track. Can you give us some of the highlights of what will be going on in that track this year?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of great speakers lined up. First, we've got Uber Freight. So Uber Freight has really been an innovator in the 4PL space in applying technology towards the final mile logistics, or all logistics for that matter, and offering a comprehensive service. So it'll be great to see how they're progressing and what they're doing and how it can impact individual companies. We've also got Nestle, who's going to be attending, and they've done a lot of work in digital twins. The great part about this presentation is digital twins are often talked about by technology vendors and others, but Nestle's actually using it, have deployed it, and has had a significant impact on their supply chain. So across many levels. So it'll be great for, I think, practitioners to hear and learn about how a large company like Nestle is successfully deploying a digital twin. And finally, we've got General Mills, who I think most people are familiar with, partnered with Palantir. If you're not familiar with Palantir, Palantir is considered really one of the leading vendors in the AI space today. They started in defense technology and have moved into supply chain and have worked on some of the toughest problems out there. And at General Mills, they partnered with General Mills to effectively automate a lot of the small decisions that were being made every day that had a huge impact on their finances, and both through productivity but also making better decisions, have really revolutionized General Mills supply chain. So that one I'm also extremely excited.
Those do sound exciting. You'd mentioned, of course, the track that you're working on, innovations and technology, but in addition to learning about those in the sessions, people can also experience some of that at the Supply Chain Exchange, which is the exhibit floor at EDGE. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you might be looking forward to seeing there?
I always enjoy that piece of it, and I should have mentioned that when we started the conversation. It's a great way in between sessions or at lunch to go walk around and learn about what other vendors are doing, some of the innovations that are coming out within supply chain, to get connected and really build out a portfolio of potential solutions for problems or issues you're trying to address within your supply chain. I think sometimes people don't spend enough time there because You can learn a ton by walking through the floor and really understand what some of these vendors are doing and the innovation that's coming to market in the supply chain space.
Dan, what would you say to someone who is considering going to Edge, but isn't quite sure if it's right for them?
You know, if you're in the supply chain profession, I don't know why you would not come to Edge. For the reasons I've already mentioned, for personal career development and networking, it's great for that piece. For learning, educating. I've been a practitioner for 30 years now in the supply chain space, but every time I go to Edge, I learn something new. And I think everybody's that way, right? There's a ton of new technology and new things that are happening to really get a feel for what's going on out there. The other thing that's great about it too is to really understand some of the trends that are happening within supply chain, especially around the logistics market. Recently, CSCMP just came out with the State of Logistics report. Great overview of trends and helping companies not just react, but anticipate the things that are going to change in the future. So education and network, I think those two alone are great. And I think finally, one of the reasons I've really gotten more involved lately is to be able to give back to the field that's given so much to me personally. So I've gotten heavily involved with leading some of the track chairs and getting involved with the organization. But it's also, if you want to get more involved, it's a great way to give back and you'll get a lot more in return.
We've been talking to Dan Vanden Brink of Decision Spot. Dan, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dave.